got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, TROP.
Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run.
And Reese with Believe in the Run. And Taylor, I've got a question for you.
Right off the bat.
After, hot off the press of TRE, what did you learn about yourself? Did you learn anything about yourself? Or do you classify yourself as an extrovert or an introvert?
These are all good questions that I've wrestled with. So the running event, for those of you that don't know, it's basically like a trade show doesn't quite cover it, or a convention doesn't quite cover it. It's just everybody in the world of running comes to one place in Texas. This year it happened to be San Antonio, which was not shorts weather, let me tell you. I mean, running was fine in shorts, but otherwise, so we didn't get a tan or anything. But since this is either my fourth or fifth year, I can't remember. And now that I'm working full time and I had time to prepare mentally, like the 2 weeks leading up to it. I wouldn't say anxious is the right word, but I definitely mentally and emotionally prepared for being with people, talking to people for that amount of time. Because it's just days on end of chit-chatting, all the things we love, and a lot of people we love. I really thoroughly enjoy going there, but I am an introvert. So the few short hours in the hotel that we did get, because the nights may have been late, it really didn't fill my cup. But here's also the thing about me. I'm more of like an extroverted introvert, I would say. Like when I'm with the Believe in the Run crew, just feels like a bunch of friends. I mean,
right.
We could use the word family too. I just love everybody in that group and feel like I can actually be myself. So from that standpoint, it was really good, especially like dinners, the times we were just us, great. Times that we were in the convention hall, great to on one end of the spectrum. But yeah, I was drained. And then my wife had her company holiday party,
oh my
end
God.
of year party the Friday night. So we got back on a plane, got home.
Oh my gosh.
I grabbed a cup of coffee and then went to that. And so
brutal.
To anybody who I either talked to or didn't talk to, I'm sorry. I was not my full self at that time. Maybe because of the Brooks party, maybe in part just because of the running event.
So overwhelming.
What about you? We could see the slow implosion of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I am typically extroverted, but I'm an introverted extrovert where.
Oh, okay. And
so I'm like the
we're
opposite of you
in that way. Okay.
Yeah. So there was one moment, every 30 minutes we were going and seeing a different brand and interviewing them on camera. So we have to be on and excited and engaged. And there was 1 hour where we didn't have anything scheduled. And I found this hidden little nook in the convention center. And I sat there and stared at a wall. I'm not even kidding. I stared at a wall for 40 minutes. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't say anything. I was like, I can't make small talk. I can't do it anymore. And then when I came back to Fort Collins Sunday night, we had a neighborhood thing with friends. And I was like, my battery is drained. I still can't, I don't want to talk to anyone about running. Because there were people I hadn't seen since I had already run JFK because I'd been traveling for 3 weeks. And I was like, I can't, I just pushed everything
so
over onto
layer.
Yeah. I pushed everything to George and I was like, his experience is more important. I can't talk anymore. Yeah. I'm just going to eat.
You just say bikes and let him talk.
Yes, literally. So I learned that there is, contrary to what Mean Girls says, there is a limit. The limit does exist, and it
Yep.
is 3 weeks of traveling and TRE.
Yeah. TRE to really cap it off.
Yeah.
And I know I've grown in skill wise, like being on camera and all that. It doesn't feel natural to me too. Like, so you have that
Interesting.
element too. And so like I was prepared for it and I could do it. This is all people I really like. And obviously things we really like with all of these running shoes, which we will get to a recap here real soon of that. But I just kind of, when you're reflecting, you just kind of got to bring this up a level, bring this up a level. I think you and I are very much, and the rest of the Believe in the Run team, which is one thing I really love. We're all just ourselves out there, but I definitely have to turn up like, okay, got to turn up my conversational piece a little bit, got to turn up this or that when you are on camera. But we should have done like the ultra, like photo booth where you take a picture with your race bib before TRE and then after TRE.
That's a really good
maybe
idea.
We should go look at our first video and last video because maybe show it.
Random thing. I had multiple people reach out to me, and even George and myself both. I was like, "Am I that short? Why do I look so tiny?"
You are that short. And I'm not
George
that tall.
Like, yeah, like even some Believe in the Run reviewers were like, "Are you shorter than I remember, or is everyone really tall?" And I was like, "I'm not sure."
And you weren't wearing. I'm thinking of the shoes. Like I had the
I was in
H1
Lululemon.
Believes on. And
yeah, I was in Lululemon.
Not that much different in terms of stack. But yeah, you're short. But
I need to get the Hoka skyward.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you need to go a few inches skyward.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they meant instead of flying.
That's how I interpret it.
Yep. Well, let's get into our week down there a little more. There's a couple things.
Let's do it.
Before I really get to that, though, I do want to shout out to Anna Gibson, who is Brooks athlete, Morton athlete, Raid belt athlete. This is her first year. She doing skimo. It's also the first Olympic year for skimo. And so the qualifiers were recently at a World Cup race. And she and Cam from Crested Butte, who's also a pro runner for DynaFit, they both made the world team. They for the Olympics, which is huge.
Incredible.
And Anna Gibson is our guest for this week. That'll be attached to our little banter section. But it was like, I think her second ever race. She did one here, and she talks about this in the podcast, that she was going down to Salt Lake to prep for her first ever race, but there's been no snow. So that's one weird thing. So she hasn't even trained on snow. And then, I mean, being able to come out the other side of her first World Cup, first international event, they win it, which is not the typical for U.S. It's usually Spain, France, those companies really take over, the Swiss. But having USA on the top of the podium and going to the Olympics, she does talk a little bit about that in our podcast. So shout out.
I love that.
Anna.
Other random thing to note. I'm not someone who follows racing. I'm really bad at athletes and results. So I apologize to anyone else, but I happened to see that Courtney Dauwalter did 2:38 at CIM. And I was like, okay, all right. It was just what an impressive, just stellar, just such a cool thing.
And to run single track media channel, they cover a lot of the different results around the ultra game, and they put out a post about what trail runners were running. And so Slim the runner. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
I'm not the person to help here.
I just got off an interview and said his name right away. Anyways.
A lot of trail runners out there running. We'll say that. I'm going
to look it up. Yeah. But he's been great on the international stage, broken Arrow, Golden Trail Series type races, usually is in the top. I'm actually embarrassed that I don't remember his name right now. I have to look
Don't
him
be,
up.
because I don't even know who you're even hinting at. I'm so
Oh, yeah, Christian Allen. There we
okay.
go. Okay, so Christian Allen, he ran a 209.
Dang.
209.
What?
So that's like, what, 8 minutes below the Olympic qualifying standard or the U.S. trial
Jeez.
standard. And so
That is
as a
crazy.
trail runner, dude, a bunch of other great performances too. But that, I mean,
Snaps.
to our chats of previously potentially wanting to do a marathon or at least being intrigued by it, might be a little
do
more
it.
motivation just seeing these folks.
I won't be anywhere
this
near
thing.
238. I'll be like 30 minutes slower.
No, you'll never know. You'll never know. You got to do it first, right?
Yeah,
I do
fair.
know I won't be close to 209. Okay, the running event. One thing,
Yeah.
I'm going to kick us off. One thing I figured out in San Antonio, that instead of soup and salad being a thing, soup and tacos is a thing. Great lunch option. Our first lunch when we got there, it was kind of quiet, the calm before the storm, and just throwing that out there. Fish taco with some tortilla soup. Splendid.
I have never had better croissants and egg sandwiches. So I don't know what's
Ooh,
happening in
yeah.
San Antonio, but I was like, I am here for this breakfast.
And I've had multiple people say that San Antonio, like the food is just meh. But maybe they're comparing to Austin. I know that's like a very cultural food hub. But all
Yeah.
the food that I had in San Antonio was spectacular.
Minus Rainforest Cafe.
Hey, that's the experience we're talking
Yeah,
about.
that was the experience. I like totally kind of melted down while we were at Rainforest because it was just like so overwhelming
Stimulation
from
overload.
having. Yeah, there was just, we had so many conversations. I was so tired. And then there's like an elephant like roaring. There's a thunderstorm happening. There's like a dead
gorilla doing
turtle in
weird
a
things in the
tank.
bushes. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was a
and
lot.
that's the thing of like that kind of noise for me personally. I don't know if I think it's more of a personality thing, probably a practice thing, having been like a teacher to kindergarten and first graders too, of like, there's a certain level of stimulus that I can just kind of like put behind me. Like that all felt like white noise to me.
Oh my
But
God. We
to
are.
you, and maybe that's to your point, a difference in personality of like, I didn't cue in on all the times that the thunderstorm happened or this, that. Yeah.
Oh no. I'm like, if it's
Maybe I'm
a
just not
sight,
observant.
sound, smell, I am like highly sensitive to it. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
even like be in our house if our washing machine is going. I'm like aggravated.
You would have hated when my overalls from TRE are in the dryer clanking around.
Oh yeah.
Which even after I
Okay.
started it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's noisy. But then I just background.
My God.
Okay, but Rainforest Cafe was one of those things that kind of started. It was one of our first nights. We went there. Robbie hadn't been there. A dream fulfilled, some might say. And I'm interested to hear his recap this Friday because it bookended with us coming back to the hotel late at night, and he found. Did you know all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say before I watched the video, so this video is of like Robbie, like there's like a briefcase and a t-shirt in there with some like garbage and he pulls it
Yeah.
out and it's Rainforest Cafe. But I honestly thought it was a TRE activation from Satisfy and they had
You
left.
would think.
I was like, I think Satisfy like left t-shirts around downtown and like this is like a brand activation.
This is it.
Was not expecting Rainforest Cafe.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that was just the wildest thing. And on these trips, it's like I'm getting the content that we're there for and then nothing else. You know, like at home, yesterday went out for a run, did a little content, grabbing the shoe, tying the shoe, that kind of stuff. I don't do any of that on this kind of trip. But for some reason, in our late night state, I'll put it that way, I whipped out my phone as we approached this briefcase that's sitting on the street side. And Robbie kneels down, looks through it, looks like just trash. And then it was a Rainforest Cafe polo from like a worker, not just like a random t-shirt. So Yeah, you bet he took that, and I hope he's actually wearing it during their recording of the podcast today.
Agreed.
But I mean, we were down there for shoes.
Yes.
You want to talk shoes?
I do. Let's do it.
Okay. I mean, there was a lot. Even though this wasn't like a whoa kind of year, last year wasn't either. There was a lot of really cool stuff, though. Not like overwhelming in one way or another. But let's just talk through a few points on what you thought was cool, or themes, or whatever. You go first.
Okay. I guess maybe theme, because I know you're probably going to say this too. Theme is number one across the board, I felt like was big into booties.
Booties.
Right? I
Lots
feel
of
like
booties.
most high-end shoe, like more of the performance, race-oriented shoe, has some kind of booty, gaiter, something attached to it.
Yeah.
That seemed to be like pretty, almost every single brand had something
And
like that, from
if we
Norda
just
to
look-
North Face.
If we look back just one year, like we had the Hoka Tecton X3. There's some like winter versions that have integrated booties, but those are purposeful for Gore-Tex and whatnot. I mean, we had one Solomon shoe, but that's also purposeful for a desert specific. But really, like, there's only the Hoka Tecton X3 and what else that had an integrated booty?
The
other
Norvan
than-
Nivalis, but that again is Gore-Tex.
Yeah, but these are just traditional,
Yeah.
not just traditional, but it's becoming a more of a standard. Many shoes had integrated booties. And I guess like La Sportiva Prodigio Pro, the Arc'teryx Cylan Pro, they have like kind of a higher
knit
ankle knit collar, but not the full integrated booty like we saw. So we saw it on like the Cascadia Elite, which we have had a review of, and you are definitely going to you got to get into that.
I really want that one.
Of course, the Mount to Coast Believe H1 has its integrated booty, and that was at the show for Mount to Coast. Norda 055 or the 55 had an integrated booty. The North Face Off Trail Ultra had an integrated booty. Are we?
Yep.
There were more. I
think the notable ones that did not were Adidas.
True.
Didn't
Yep.
have one. And who else? That was like,
Yeah, like
I feel like
Nike
of like the
did
big
it, I
brands.
guess.
Nike,
I guess
yeah. Sure.
which maybe that can be the next point. That's one that I wrote down, like the new Zagama 3, ACG Zagama 3, not Nike Trail, Nike ACG Zagama 3. They're very specific on their marketing there. But that also had, just like in the previous version, had some sort of higher integrated sock. But again, still not quite like the booty.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a theme. And on the point of Nike, that was one thing I was going to bring up. Of even though they're just bringing two new shoes, the ACG Zagama 3 and the ACG Ultrafly 2, the way in which they carry themselves or just show up at when they want to, if they decide to show up, they are showing up. And so like both of those models were really exciting, but they're not just showing up in that way. Like they had a rally car parked outside. I am sure, strategically put out before this event that they are supporting Gorge Waterfalls, Broken Arrow's new sponsor, putting like literally millions of dollars out into the trail running space, which I'm going to say, I hope that continues. But when they decide to show up, they're just there. And I felt that presence in the buzz around their booth for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I've never run in either of those shoes, so I'm pretty curious about them. So I can't really speak to like what they were before versus what they are after. But it definitely seems like it's not like obviously like a new breakout. ACG is not new. The guy explained that really well. But I think kind of just doubling down and really investing in it. And we've seen that across the board with a lot of these big brands. Like Brooks was saying like 5 athletes a year ago to now like 55 trail athletes. So I think a lot of the big brands, like if this is a litmus test, right? If the brands with a lot of money are dishing out a lot of money in trail, that to me is a signal that even though, right, this might account for 10% of their sales, they're forecasting it being more than 10% in the future. Otherwise, they wouldn't. They're not just doing this because it's like a charity for them.
Yeah, and I mean, to kind of the point of where you highlighted Courtney DeWalter and some other trail athletes going to the road of intrigue, that intrigue's only going to go both ways as the years continue, and we've definitely seen that in the trail space. So while like I am legitimately excited about those shoes, I'm probably more excited about the continued investment from ACG, and I
Agreed.
felt like that was present for sure.
Yeah, I think.
What else you got? Go ahead.
Oh no. What else? I think for me, there were like 2 notable brands. The first one is, of course, Norda. I think, I don't know. One, Nick is just a personality that I think, like, I don't know if we've had him on a podcast for like the drop, but like this isn't his first rodeo. Norda Norda is not like his first dabbling into this, and he's tons of experience within the shoe industry and building shoes and creating them. And so this feels like his peak culmination of knowledge. But I think just they're so consistent, and everything, all the shoes are very similar looking, very similar stats, very similar, all these things. And so to put this
branded without being branded.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I mean, look at their shoe. It's a Norda shoe, but it only says Norda in this tiny, like white or silver color. Subtle. And they do that on purpose. Like, I'm pretty sure I have a Norda hat here. Yeah, right here. You can see the dog hair on it, but you barely see the logo, and that's purposeful because you just know it's Norda by looking at it. There's no other brand that it could be. And so that's masterful.
And I think they just execute so well. And with this new shoe, the 55, it being kind of like, their super shoe, one, I'm excited to test that just because it looks, I love the 5. But they just
I've never heard someone who doesn't love the 5. As much poor comments as we get sometimes of people's very strong opinions towards shoes, the 5 is not one that I've gotten a negative. There are a couple like fit things that could be adjusted, of course, but overall, people just love the 5, and it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what they've done really well is Nick is okay with firing the customer, right? He's like, if we are not for everyone, I'm building the shoe for a very specific purpose. And if you aren't using it for that, you probably won't like it. Or like, if it doesn't fit your foot, you're probably just not going to like it. And that's okay. And I appreciate that.
Unapologetic,
I appreciate
for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate
not
that
in
there's
like a nosy or snobby way, but yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that there's like certain, right? Like Brooks is kind of, I would say, like for everyone almost, and Norda is just not. And I like being able to have those options, I suppose. And the shoe just looks so good. I'm excited to see what colors come out.
It was one of those that does have that softer integrated full booty, like above the ankle. Reminded me a lot of the Cascadia Elite's integrated booty too. But the rest of it is basically the 005, but just turned up a notch. It has bigger lugs, has 4 more millimeters of stack or something like that. Which, I mean, Nick was really forward with this too. They listened to consumers. What more did they want out of a race day shoe or an elite level option? And I mean, that's what he did. I shouldn't say just Nick, like Nick, Willa, and the whole team. We missed Willa out there. Willa, if you're listening.
What was what shoe do you want to try the most?
Oh, gosh. See, I didn't prepare for that question. The Norda 055 would definitely be up there. There were a couple that I think, like looking at I'm going to put this on an intrigue level more than me saying that these are going to be the best of the best, which they very well could be, but on an intrigue level. So we had one of the shoes is from E008, actually. So the E008 Trailfly Pro. And one of the things on one level, like it's just so fun to see Johnny. Hi, Johnny. I know he listens.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. It's just so exciting to see him like come into his own in his career. This is his like first baby of a shoe, and he is a shoe nerd through and through. Gear for running, bikes, anything. And he does his homework, and it's clear that it came out in the shoe. And so it's very E008 in the sense that it has like they're really owning a more anatomical foot shape as of lately. They want to be able to connect with the ground, so that's evident, but they're finally using some more premium materials besides their graphene grip outsole, which is like top notch. And so they still have that, but then they have a TPEE midsole, which is exactly what the Norda 005 and the 055 have. And so we know that's like tried and true. It's a little firmer than just by feeling it, I guess. And then just like an upper that's going to keep you on the footbed. So it actually, the two shoes that it reminded me of, and this is why I'm so intrigued by it, Norda 005, of course, and the Prodigio Pro. Like, you bring those two shoes together, like our two top shoes of this year. If this thing performs as it seems like it could, that's a shoe to look out for.
Yeah, I totally agree. That one seems cool. And then I just have to second, like, I think we interviewed a lot of people while we were out there, and with Johnny and people like Nick, or like there are others that we did too, like the guy from Teva. When you can tell when someone's really passionate about it and really just like all in and they believe in it. And I think that gets me excited to try it as well. Yeah. Like whether or not that's a good thing, like obviously my experience will be what determines whether or not I like it, but it makes me, like you said, intrigued or inspired or excited.
Yeah. And so on the front end, for sure, that's something, and we'll put it to the test for sure. And we'll be honest about all that. That will never change. But it kind of goes to this point. I had a couple conversations at the running event, is that when you're at a place like this, and like you and I, we've been around for a while, so we know a lot of these people, but then you also meet a whole slew of other people. And at the end of the day, and this is why, like, this is so you and I to get here, but like on a more like purpose-driven level of like, why I just love what I do. Like, we're going to give honest, constructive feedback for consumers. But at the end of the day, it's people like Johnny, like Nick. They're creating things with the person on the end in mind. Of course, they might have budgets and stuff like that, but I feel like those people, like you mentioned, that have such a passion for this, they're creating it with somebody else in mind. And so, like, that's just really cool to me. And maybe that's romanticizing this whole thing, but I don't really care. That's what I'm sticking with.
I think, for me, like having a soul, like a little, like, right, there's a soul, but like the soul of a human, be invested in it. Like, I think that's great. It translates, like, I can feel it. Like, it gets me hyped. And then it kind of trickles down where, like, I have friends, or I have friends of friends that come out, like, reach out to me and they're like, this hurts while I'm running. What should I do? And after, like, hearing all these stories or why these shoes were created, I kind of, it's like some weird folklore thing where I'm like, oh, here's like the shoe for you. Like, I think this is going to be really good. Here's why it was created. And I like that. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like your personal shoe finder is what I get to be for a lot of my friends.
Exactly.
So I like that.
Well, and then like, you have to know your friend, right? To be able to give them a good. So it's just like, at the end of the day, I guess it always comes back to people. As much as we're filled up, we're drained by them.
100%. What was the surprise of the show for you?
Oh, I'm going to let you answer that one first. Because I think
I think you know what mine is.
Yeah. Go for it.
Mine is Teva.
Absolutely.
I watched that video, and if no one has watched the Teva Believe in the Run like trial video, please watch it. So that was our
I think that
last
was
interview.
at the end of day one.
Yeah.
So that might have played into our antics, but genuinely intrigued.
Yeah, like this and the presenter was so passionate and knowledgeable, and he like riffed off of us, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I like a dynamic interview, but like I'm not someone
Aren't
who
those
wants
all
to
of our interviews?
Yeah, I'm not someone who wants to run in a sandal. Like I'm not. But the technology that was in that sandal, I'm like, there's a supercritical foam, there's a nylon plate, there's all of these like touch points where you can lock down your foot. And I'm like, well, I have to like, I want to do some due diligence here and try it. And then test out the shoe as well. It's a corresponding shoe. But Teva, they obviously have like a rich history in outdoor footwear, not necessarily performance trail running shoes, and they kind of came in strong. And while they are a separate entity entirely from Hoka, owned by Deckers, they can use a lot of the same materials, and they don't tell Hoka what's going on. They'll just do it, and I think it's a really interesting company. I want to learn more. I guess again, I'm curious.
Well, they followed up with any samples that we want. And so I'm like, even if we've already tested it before, now I've got to get into these sandals.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually were wearing them during the interview.
Yeah.
Legitimately comfortable. Like there's some squish, there's a little bit of energy return even.
Speaking of sandals, I'm in the Roll Recovery, the new Super Plush. Oh my God.
Me too. Both of us are.
It's winter here. And I'm barefoot in thong sandals, and I'm like loving this. I want it to be summer.
I have to say, with the growing amount of high performance, what do we call it? High performance recovery shoes?
Yeah. Super recovery shoes.
Super recovery shoes. This is my peak. It just fits my foot, feels soft on the top and the bottom, but not too soft. I like a little bit of structure. That's why I use the Birkenstock. So this is kind of in the middle of like, I mean, now with that new strap, comfortable strap, it's really in the middle of a Birkenstock and a Hoka slide. Like, boom. Love it.
I want to wear it all the time.
I've been wearing it all the time. Even when I have to go out in the snow to get like a new haul of wood for the fireplace. Not taking it off.
I love that.
Okay. Another shoe I did want to mention though, which also goes along with like, I know the designers on more of a personal level, but I think knowing them, I also know how much they invest and also the types of materials and kind of their trajectory over the last few years, and that's Merrell. And so we talked to Drew and Ian there, and they've been great for years. I have some prototypes of some race day shoes from a few years ago that would still hold up that they never came to market with, but they're finally bringing to market a truly intriguing and I hope viable race day option. Carbon plated, everything. And so that's the Merrell MTL Speed Arc Peak. I believe I got that name right.
A lot of words. I screwed up so many shoe names. I was like, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah. So, it has multiple layers of foam. It has a really unique carbon plate within there. So you get, it's borderline, it's probably in that high stack category. A really tried and true aggressive outsole and a nice fitting upper. I just know they've put a ton of work into bringing that to life. And I am ready for it to get on my feet now.
I like that. And then, okay, one more thing.
Yeah.
And we can't like say anything about this. So hopefully I'm not doing anything crazy, but I'll allude. So normally at these events, there's like the expo, the booth, and then there's like the hidden back door, like secret, no cameras allowed. No, you can't talk about it booth. And there, I will say there are some brands. Yeah.
Yeah, well, some of them have like a little closet, integrated into
Yeah.
their set, but also there's also many brands that have an upstairs, which not as many
Yeah.
people go, and then a closet within the upstairs. Like they
Yes.
build out a room so it's like 3 levels of security, maximum security shoes.
Yeah. So some of these maximum security shoes, I'm not going to say brands, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want an email or a text from Thomas or Robbie later. But I'll say some big brands brought us into their secret layers. And there are, I would say, fall 2026 shoes that I am probably the most excited for. Would you agree for some of those big brands?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And a couple of those brands also showed off 2027, which
Yeah.
I did ask Meryl about this. I'm not going to say what models are happening, but I went into their closet and I am excited about those as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on, which is so fun. I wish we could just say more.
Yeah. So I guess maybe listener, if you are like, wow,
Give
I
us
really
a drink
wish,
or two.
yeah, I wish so and so would have updated blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe they did, and we just can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. Because, I mean, most of these companies are working into 28, 2029. I even heard one company that's talking about their 2030 shoes at this point.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what I'm doing like in February.
I have to check my schedule immediately after this to make sure I'm not missing something else.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to get through this week.
Yeah. But I mean, to your point too, like another theme will continue of like foams are continuing to advance, and we've seen a lot of like tweaks to, I mean, like the North Face is slightly tweaking their Dream foam, which we've loved, and it's now going to be Dream fill in the blank. Dream Bound, thank you. So it's going to be Dream Bound, and so there a lot of just tweaking and altering of foams to get exactly the experience that you want. And so when we're seeing a lot of companies with, expanding lines, the foam is really what's going to start setting some of these apart. And so many other shoes are going to have TPEE in it, not just the Norda 005. Many more brands are going to have ATPU in it, not just, the Puma or the Speedland with the ATPU beads. There's others coming along. And I know I said North Face, and I can't get around this because it kind of brings together all the themes we've said so far. But they have the Off Trail Ultra coming. And
So good.
I did that one have the Dreambound foam as well?
Yes.
I feel like it did. People can correct us.
I think
if
it did.
otherwise. Either the Dream or Dreambound. Aggressive outsole, really nice, much lighter weight upper than their other off-trail series, and that integrated booty. And so it really kind of makes me think of, they have the Infinite series, and the Infinite 3 was a stellar all-around shoe. Like, I was the only one that got that one, and I feel, we've been in a lot of shoes, and it really is a great shoe. You and I tend to fit really well in the North Face as well. But seeing all those things come together, like that's going to be a shoe to be super excited about.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. And I think, I won't say the brand's name. No, I won't say it. But there was a brand that asked me, you and I, we were there. He was like, what would you want? What's missing in our lineup? And I described my perfect shoe, which was lower stack, good for ultra distance.
Which, when you say lower stack, could you like put to, it's not like you're going, I want 24 millimeters across the board.
No,
what's your lower stack?
Like 30 to 32, yep. I would say.
Okay. Yep.
I was like in that range, like 3 millimeter lugs, maybe throw in a plate that would make it awesome, but like definitely made for ultra trail that you could handle
this conversation.
Yeah. So you could handle some technical things. And this person was like, I'm loving what you're saying. Stay tuned. And I was like, thank God. I
Yes.
just want low stack shoes. My
Which,
God.
to be fair, too, if somebody ever figures out which brand this is, I'm going to say it's exciting that they are continuing to listen and continuing to press the pedal in a previously meh approach to innovation.
Yeah. I think both of us were not excited about a lot of their shoes in the past year. And so
Yeah.
I am now I'm open-minded and excited for what their offering is going to be
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
One last thing
what
I will
else?
say, because
Yeah.
I brought it up on a previous podcast, I was wearing the Balance 2 from Amazfit
Okay.
and I got the
The watch,
T-Rex.
Amazfit
Yes.
watch.
And everyone still has the same complaint. Everyone that I talk to about it, they're like, the brand name is awful. Agreed. I think it's
Yeah.
terrible. If they could change that, no one would think it's like a Amazon knockoff kind of brand. I think
But wait,
that's like a huge hurdle.
does it actually fit amazingly?
So the T-Rex 3 is different than the Balance 2. It has more buttons. It's a little smaller, but it's definitely like a thicker profile. And it's a 44 mil. But in comparison, I just like the buttons. I love the display. It is like the best. It's better resolution than like my phone. It is so good. And okay, I'm going to tell you something really stupid. It has a flashlight. And I was like, why would anyone ever have a flashlight on their watch? This is the dumbest thing. I use it every single day when I walk my dogs at night.
Yep.
When they go to the bathroom, like I'm using this flashlight, but I use it. I was like, the watch is comfortable. It's simple. You can make it as complex as you want. I forget the price point off the top of my head, but like, I would say it has more features than my Phoenix 7S. And I know it's not $1,000. I know it's way less than that. So I was
think
just,
when we looked
I
it
kind
up,
of,
it was in like that 600 to 700.
yeah. And I think that like previously I had complained a little bit about the Balance too. And I think it was just a function of like, I'm not good with touchscreens for watches. And this one, the display is like 1,000 times better than my Garmin, which is kind of crazy to me.
Have you been running with it since?
Yeah,
back?
I have. And I wear it pretty much like all day long.
Okay.
I don't have it on
seem to
this
be
morning.
as accurate with GPS.
It does. Like, I'm pretty sure it's comparable. And the battery life, I think, is like, I think it shows me how long since the last time I've charged it. And it's, even using it, it's like 10, 12 days. And I'm like, that's pretty good. It's getting good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's nice that there's, I mean, like the onset of all these amazing shoes out there, like the watch game is really stepping up now, where there's many players that could use your wrist space.
What's the Sunto was the one you said I need to test out, the race or
so they have a
race?
base model called the Sunto race, and so that's like Koros pace version, like still high accuracy, some cool functionalities, mostly for like road running, but still obviously has all the trail running mechanisms and algorithms and modes and stuff. They have like 115 different modes on their watches.
Love that.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
What else? There's one other kind of theme that I wanted to talk about.
You go.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Gravel.
Oh
Gravel.
my God.
It really is a phenomenon. We've had a lot of door to trail gravel come out this year. It will continue in the next years. Pretty much every brand's going to have a road to trail or gravel option. And so we've talked about it a lot, but gravel doesn't just mean your gravel road. And so it's going to be that more of an idea to be able to traverse, non-technical approaching up to technical, moderately technical terrain. So your road, your gravel path, into your light trail. That's what people mean by gravel. And so there's definitely some intriguing players in that space. One of the shoes that kind of stood out was the Shupe gravel from Craft, which is spelled like Kype.
Yeah, I was like,
Swedish
that's
brand.
the one that I'm most excited about, to be honest.
Yeah. And so like I have the road version, their Shupe super shoe. So it's their road super shoe, carbon
I wanna
plate,
try that.
super foam. Yeah. And so one thing I know that our road reviewers, comparison to other road super shoe models, it maybe doesn't have that X factor of exactly of like a super soft foam to get the compression of the plate and out. But that particular foam, I think, would work really well in a gravel scenario. Think Western States. I mean, Eden Nielsen took 4th place or something like that in it, a prototype of it. But yeah, super exciting shoe. Has the stack, has the grip, has the plate, has everything of a trail, quote unquote, super shoe. So
I'm excited for that one. Yeah, that one seemed, when I think of like a gravel super shoe, like that's it. Like that's exactly what I want. So yeah, that one to me, I'm super, super excited about, and some skepticism only because in the past I've struggled with Craft's foam, but it seems like they might have hit a really good balance with this one.
yeah. And that's, I guess if we're talking about Craft, all of their shoes going forward, we talked about they have a new trail model, trail specific model, not gravel. The Vilde, which was previously, they're kind of discontinuing one shoe and calling it the Vilde. So that looked legit, and the foam is actually softer with a Vibram outsole. That 50 mil shoe, I can't remember what that one's called.
Oh my God. Yeah. That is,
remember?
the
I
fact
actually
that there
have-
was a 50 millimeter shoe is like blowing my mind.
I have it because I happen to have all of the brands catalogs out
nice.
here. The Atmosphar.
Okay.
And so like that foam too, this beaded midsole seemed softer than a lot of their other options. And I know that's just one thing that they've been dealing with, figuring out what foams are going to really work. That seemed intriguing. And then the Shupe gravel. What else?
Anything
else? I mean, I have so much that I could talk about, honestly.
I know, that's the problem, is like there was a normal shoe that was super cool.
Yeah.
Like the Adidas, the TRE shoes, but I think we can't list them all out, but I think there's a lot to be excited for in
So much.
whatever category you're going to be running in.
Yeah, and I'm going to just kind of go through here. All of our videos are up on YouTube if you want many brands takes. We weren't able to get to all of them. I mean, we scheduled full work days, new meeting every half hour. We did do a little bit of lunch, but even pushed it on that. So there's just tons of videos up. On the trail side, some brands we haven't touched yet. Solomon has some intriguing stuff, especially going into 27. I know there's going to be some good updates otherwise, just kind of minimal in terms of the models that they have going on, just more focused on fit and dialing in that. Mount to Coast has a shoe, the M1, that's really intriguing. More aggressive trail, like you said. Normal. Ultra. Ultra had an intriguing lineup. Do you feel the same way I do about that?
I didn't really check out Ultra. They don't fit my feet super well, so I never end up like being well versed on their shoes.
Yeah, so they seem to really be also dialing in the foam. They've more recently have been criticized for their durability, and so they're approaching that while maintaining some of the performance. And so I haven't been intrigued by Ultra in a long time, but this year I am. La Sportiva Prodigio 2 is exciting. Check out the Hoka Trail preview and just read into that how you will and see what they have coming. We covered North Face, really intriguing On shoe.
Oh yeah.
And then Another thing that I did want to highlight too that I actually didn't write down, but I'm glad I'm looking at it right now. Two things. Agravic line, the Terex lineup of their Agravic shoes, 4 very awesome shoes that we've highlighted on the website. You can check that out. And Speedland. Speedland is intriguing, not only just because of some of the model. They're coming out with a couple new models, kind of riffing off of their road line. So it's going to be lighter, which is I'm always a fan of in terms of their construction. Extreme quality, but that's been a critique of mine of they could always be lighter, and probably a reason why we haven't seen more of them on elite level athletes' feet, even at the 200 level. But they have some beyond their shoes that they're coming out with is the idea. So when they came out with Speedland, their big idea was to end up having a custom capability. So you can customize the insole, you can get your outsole replaced, you can, customize the plate. And so now that they have like a bank of silhouettes that they've come up with and released as commissions is what they call them, you can hopefully they're trending toward this. And the fact that they put it up in their booth, I feel kind of encouraged to say something, and I want to see this come to life for them. I don't know if many other brands could actually bring something like this to life, but it would be really cool if the idea kind of spread far and wide of like you pick your silhouette, you pick your drop-in midsole foam that you want, you can pick a plate to go with it or a sans plate. You can also choose what type of outsole you have on it, and so you're customizing shoes for yourself, but they offer the silhouettes, and I think that's
a unique proposition.
Yeah. And so, but I know they've found this out, and being in this industry, the practicality of that, or when it comes down to brass tacks, who knows what can happen. But
could be expensive.
But so are their shoes. So if you're bringing in that kind of money, get it out there too. So I like that idea. And if like someone like On with the huge amount of resources that they have could also capitalize on something like that, it's probably less likely for them. But they do have that spray foam stuff. It'd be a cool idea. I'm excited. I
like where their head's at.
Yeah. Tell me more. Comment enclosed.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else we need to touch on?
I think that's a wrap.
Well, I do. It is a wrap. Besides me saying, I just love hanging out with the Believe in the Run crew. That's really
crew.
Was like the highlight of the trip. As much as we love running and all that.
This is like a really weird thing to say, but I'm going to say it. I was, last night I was like, okay, I have the podcast tomorrow morning. Like we're getting close to the end of the year. I think I have traveled more with you, Thomas, and Carl than I have with George this year. Like
seriously,
that's kind of blowing. I mean, I obviously see George more often because we live together. And we go on like George whatever travel. Yeah, probably. But I think I was like, what, Jury's out on George. No, he's phenomenal. Yeah. He puts up with all my crap. But I'm like, I have spent more time in planes, in airports, in other states and countries with the Believe in the Run crew than I have with George, which like makes me think I need to take more trips with George. So we are going to Phoenix, which will be nice to get away from winter.
Yep. Yeah, because it is absolutely here. If you can't hear on my microphone, hopefully not. But yeah, Kay, it was a pleasure as always.
Yeah, like always. The word of the week, I guess, is intrigued.
Just kidding. Intrigued. Okay.
Intrigued. I think we're intrigued.
Yeah, absolutely intrigued. And I think, since we were in 80 plus trail shoes last year, it's probably going to be, we might push the 100 this year based on all the models that are available and what we are intrigued by, including sandals.
I'm going to be redoing my gear closet because of this, so I'll take some before and after pictures.
Okay, and if you need shelf recommendations, that's probably the number one question I get. of like, what shelves are those? They are Amazon, and my wife has to hunt up the link every time.
Okay.
Thank you, dog.
Amazing.
But they're cheap too, and I'm okay with cheap as long as it works.
All right.
Okay, we need to go now.
Yeah, get out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Taylor with Believe in the Run, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Anna Gibson. If you're at all a trail runner, you've likely heard her name. She's a phenom of an athlete who has been tearing up the trails mostly this year, but in the past you maybe have heard her name be called at U.S. Olympic trials and other track events in the NCAAs. If you've been a fan of just cross country and track as well, she might be a familiar name to you, but if you're more in the marathoning world, she might be a new face. But know that she is an athlete who is really at the top of the game, and that not just in the U.S., but on the global scale. I tee you up in that way. How does that make you feel to know like you are viewed as one of the best in the world?
Well, thank you for the warm introduction.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, just excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah. Like, you really are one of the best in the world. Like, results have proven it. A couple years worth of really dedication in the trails and being able to have like that crossover speed between different surfaces. I know you didn't get here just by happen chance of like, what's your background? Like, how do you become an athlete who can be really competitive on multiple different surfaces?
Well, so I grew up in Jackson, Wyoming, and I feel like I was really fortunate to have a childhood that was just filled with all sorts of different activities. My parents like owned their business, so we had a lot of flexibility when I was a kid. They had great managers, and we're kind of like pretty established in the community here, and so we were able to just like go off on the weekends and like we had an old Volkswagen camper van that we kind of lived out of for a couple days a week, and we'd go on these adventures and ride bikes and kayak and hike and do all these things. So I was doing that like from when I was really young, as soon as I could get out, up until the point that I was in school. And then even when I went into school and kind of had the opportunity to be a part of like organized sports, I was doing like 5 different things throughout the year. You know, like I was running cross country, and then I would do soccer, and then I would do swimming, and then I'd alpine ski race, and then I'd do track. And it was just like always one thing to the next. And they were like kind of all just like blurring together. And so I feel like from the very beginning, I was kind of just this like multi-sport athlete. I didn't really know what I was best at, and I didn't know what I loved the most. When I was really young, I was like really into alpine ski racing, and I thought that I like that was like my ultimate sport dream, was to like be a downhill racer. And then that kind of like morphed over time into me realizing that I was more of an endurance athlete and that I really like to push myself that way. More than I was like into the adrenaline thrill and all of that. So yeah, I think that that kind of like shaped who I became as I like went through high school and through the NCAA, like becoming a more competitive runner. I kind of was still like doing all these like other sports on the side. And I think that set me up really well to like, yeah, just have my feet in a lot of different areas all at once.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is just a trail running thing, but you see it more in trail runners as opposed to like those who are making a living, maybe doing marathoning or on the track currently. But it seems that trail runners have this more diverse background that played multiple sports. Do you feel like that? I think you already said it, but like, how has that played into you being so successful again on multiple surfaces, but also as like a trail athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's super true and like a really good kind of observation of like how these two different ecosystems work. Like it's sort of a chicken or the egg question though, I think. It's like, well, are trail athletes good at trail because they do all these other sports, because their other sports are complementary and help them train and like I mean, one example that I can think of is like that I've found mountain biking to be like a really good way to train for trail, because if you can go down a trail that fast and mentally be able to like take things in and adjust and, you know, have the spatial awareness to like mountain bike well, then when you're on a trail and you're running, it feels like it's in slow motion. So like things like that, where it's like, I think that having a diverse sport background makes you better at trail running. But then I think it's also the other way around, where it's like, if you're if you're doing trail, you don't have to be like quite so focused on like that specifically. There are a lot of different things you can do in order to train.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas track, I feel like it's this very like exacting kind of scientific approach where everything can be like boiled down to like a pace or a heart rate zone or all of that. And it's very like consistent. And so I do think like, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. It's the chicken or the egg. Like, I don't really know which one causes which, but I definitely have felt like trail, I can do a lot more things and like be improving on the trails. Whereas like with track, it's not always like that. Like if you do too much other stuff, you kind of might like throw off your race or throw off your season
Mm-hmm.
or what.
Yeah, and you grew up in an area in Jackson, like there obviously there's a population who come to your area just for the world class skiing, but also world class hiking, trail running. Was trail running at all a sport that you were aware of growing up?
I became aware of it. I think there are a couple of like really cool local trail races here, predominantly like uphill races at the
Mm-hmm.
ski areas around the area that I started competing in when I was like in high school, maybe even in middle school at one point. I don't remember exactly when I started, but um, I became aware of it then, but I was not aware of the fact that it could be your entire career. And I was, I don't think that like ultra running or anything like that was really on my radar at the time. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of just this thing that I enjoyed doing, and I didn't know that it could be like as competitive as it obviously is.
Yeah, and I think probably around the time that you were in middle school, high school, I guess I don't know your exact age, but it probably wasn't a thing. But by the time you were exiting college, was that on your radar? Because you were one of your class, like college class, coming out of the collegiate scene, kind of was the first class that really had that option that was like presented. Was that how it was for you? Was it like, here's the options you have before you, and one of them could be trail running or include trail running?
Yeah, I mean, I was becoming aware of like how much opportunity there was in the trail world. I didn't know that that was like a financial opportunity when I came out of college. Like, I still was like, I don't know if you can really make a living doing this. Like, I don't know if you can do just trail and not do track and road. Um, but I was aware that like the series and the bigger events in the world were becoming really popular, starting to be televised. I was following the Golden Trail World Series for a couple of years before I
Okay.
actually started racing in it. So it was kind of, yeah, the awareness was like coming to me. And then sort of as that opportunity was presented to me to like really go all in on trail, and also do track, like I began to realize like, okay, this is a real thing. Like I can actually do this,
Yeah.
and follow this trajectory.
And I feel like Brooks as a brand is one of the few that has capitalized on that capability of being able to do both, or having athletes that can switch between surfaces. It's a super unique thing. And was that part of like your original contract with Brooks of like, they want you to do both, you wanted to do both, or was it kind of a mix?
Yeah, I mean, from my first conversation with Brooks, like I had said, hey, like I really want to do both. And um, they immediately came back to me with like a level of excitement that I hadn't felt from anywhere else. Like other
Cool.
brands were kind of like, we don't really know what to do with you. We don't know what bucket to put you in. And I was like, that's the point. I don't want to be in a bucket. Like, don't put me anywhere. Just like, I want to race everything.
Yeah.
And Brooks was incredible from the very beginning. Like the conversation was always just that I was going to race running, and it didn't really matter what discipline or what surface I was on. And so I owe like, I don't know, the way that my career went is like because of the opportunity that they gave me and continue to give me every single season. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. And of course, here at the Dirt Division, we're a little more partial to the trail side, of course. And you've spent most of this past year on the trail. Is that something that you see as being like a for good type of thing? Have you had your fill of road and track races?
Um, I don't think I've had my fill. There's a lot of
Okay,
unfinished business there for me.
cool.
And I'm never going to say that I won't do something because I don't know, anybody who knows me or follows me is probably aware of the fact that like I'm always just like deciding to do things that seem kind of rogue. And so
Mhm.
I I'm never going to say
It's
I'm
the
putting
fun
it
of it.
away. I will say I feel like I've shifted towards the trail a lot more. This year that was a goal because of the world championships.
Hmm.
And that like competing well at Trail Worlds was like a big goal of mine. And the year before that, I had given a lot to competing well at the Olympic trials in the 1500. And so I was kind of like, okay, 2024 was my track year, 2025 is my trail year. And then as I shifted towards trail, I realized that I was also really excited about gravel bike racing. And I also wanted to race skimo, and trail kind of allowed me to like explore those other interests and be able to compete as well. Whereas track would like kind of prevent me from exploring some of those things. So yeah, it's been an interesting time trying to find the right balance between all the things that I want to do. I can't race everything in a year.
Yeah. So you're kind of entering, I mean, you are effectively in your off season, right? You don't have any races between now and the end of the year. In terms of running.
I actually do. In terms of running, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I'm done with
what
running.
else?
Actually competing in 2 skimo races that are...
They're in the Teton Valley, or?
They are down at Brighton in Utah, and they are technically the qualifiers for the Olympic skimo mixed relay team to make the Olympics. And so they're kind of a big deal, but I've never raced before, so it's a total wild card on what's going to happen or if I will even be useful to the team. We're going to figure it out.
I mean, there's some predictors there. I mean, look at the World Championships VK. He had such an awesome result there, and let's just talk about that real quick. You were most recently at Golden Trail Series, but just before that was the World Championship, right? And you raced both the VK and the Classic. I'm getting this all right, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so in the VK, you came in 3rd overall. I'm trying to remember this all off the top of my head.
I'm impressed. Getting it right.
Okay. I'm a fan of the sport. So I was like, okay, that's what I'm feeling. But more so, I just talked to your teammate, Taylor Stack, just a few weeks ago. And more so than ever, part of our conversation was that this World Championship had the most competition by far. Like, it's always had a high level of competition, but it might be, a certain percentage of the professional trail runners who are out there or the elite trail runners. This year was super concentrated on all the races from the VK all the way to the long distance. And so to be able to come in 3rd place, that's a big deal. That's like a true world championship experience. And so when you have that kind of caliber of fitness and skill, and even though you're a young athlete, like you have a lot of experience under your belt, what does a result like that mean to you and going into this next season of uphill skiing? Of like, does that give you some true confidence there?
I mean, it definitely does. Like, that was a huge performance in like the grand scheme of my life and like just in anyone's career. Like, it's kind of crazy to have a performance like that where like, I don't know if I'm going to ever like do that again or if I'm going to do better than that.
You're young.
Like,
you're young. You'll get
I hope so. Like, obviously that's the goal of your career, is to like continue to build and continue to improve. But like, just to like reach that level now, it was a lot sooner than I was expecting, and just how I thought like my career would play out. And it was really cool. My whole family was there, so that was really special.
Oh, sweet.
And a lot of like close friends from the US that were also on the team, and also just from around the world. So it was a really incredible experience. It was my first like major world championship of any discipline. So yeah, that was special. And I think it definitely is giving me a lot of confidence. Like, I know that I'm going into this off season pretty run down, to be honest. Like, I had a really crazy season with a ton of travel and a lot of other like work projects outside of competing. And so I'm very tired, but I know that I'm very fit and I like physically feel
It's a good place to be.
Healthy and good. And so it's a good way to be going into the start of the skimo season.
Yeah. And there's a lot who are at the top of the sport on both the men's and the women's side who take like months off of running and focus on some other sport. So is that going to be your focus? Like, are you going to completely be done running for a little while and then just build some strength and uphill gas? What's your plan there?
Yeah, things are definitely like shifting around a fair amount. I did take like a solid break. I actually went rafting on the Grand Canyon in order to like really check myself out.
Dude, okay.
Life and so that was my most recent adventure. And then
okay, well, let's pause there a little bit. Okay, tell me what does this mean How many days? What were you stopping
So
for hours on end? What was going on?
Yeah, I was, it was a big group of friends. I was on the river for 10 days, basically just floating and camping and exploring up the side canyons. So I was definitely being like kind of active, but I wasn't really like running or training in any way.
Yeah,
And it was a really nice reset. Like, I needed to just completely like dissociate from anything like even remotely work related or training related or any of that. So it was a good
so
reset.
as a professional athlete, do you like, are those like vacation days? Do you have to like call in sick or whatever? Like, how does that work?
No, I
Yeah.
mean, it's awesome. Like I'm my own boss. So it's like, I just don't schedule meetings when I don't want to schedule
Yeah.
meetings, and it's not too hard to leave. But this time of year can be really busy with brands and partners, like planning, I don't know, media stuff for next year or
Yeah.
contract negotiations or all of
Yep.
that. So it's a little bit of a crazy time to like check out, but it's something I've done for the last 3 years since I've been in the pro world. And I think it's really healthy to like take a full break,
Totally.
just as if you were working like any regular 9 to 5 or a corporate job or
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, talking with Seth Ruling earlier this year too, of like, I asked the question of like how he maintains balance, and it was a really insightful thought that he said, well, actually, it might even be my job to not be balanced. And so I never really thought of that in terms of a professional athlete. Can you identify with that at all?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of funny. I feel like probably from the outside, it looks like professional athletes like have a really weird job that doesn't like fit any regular life things.
Hmm.
And I feel like I've been on this like constant quest to just like figure out actually how to like, I don't know. I mean, I think I do strive for balance, but it's
Yeah,
like
of
what
course.
balance looks like during different times of the year is like wildly different. Like my
Yeah.
balance in off season is completely different than my balance when I'm like competing and traveling a
Yeah,
bunch.
of course. And so like, a couple more questions about this raft trip. Are you like fishing along the way? Are you like hours a day in a raft, or is most of your time just taking down and setting up camp? I've never done a long rafting trip like that.
It is a lot of gear shuttling and like setting up and tearing down and all that. And there's like a big camp kitchen, because there's like 15 people on this trip. So you're
Yeah.
cooking for a ton of people. So it's a lot of that. But yeah, at least like 4 or 5 hours on the boat every day and like exciting whitewater. And yeah, stopping to go like on side adventures. There's some trails and like old historical stuff down in the Grand Canyon that you can't access from the rims, but like the
Yeah.
only way to see it is to stop on the side of the river and go
Dude,
exploring. There's a lot of that as well.
might have to put this on my bucket list for next year.
I would highly recommend it to anybody. It is such a beautiful place, and it was wild just being in there and knowing this is the Grand Canyon. Like, it is one of the most iconic natural features in the US and in the world, and it's so remote. Like, the only way that most people see this section that I was on is by floating the river. Like, there's
Hmm.
not any development anywhere near it. It's like feels like you're so out there, and to not have cell service or be in touch with anybody outside of your little pod, it was really an
Which,
incredible experience.
I mean, is kind of a great way to do it. Like, just kind of just saturate yourself with all those activities, because I'm just thinking to myself of like, my only hobby really is running, I guess. And when I can't run, I have to move in other ways. But all of my other hobbies revolve around being outdoors, camping, all that. So, man, you're talking me into this thing.
I think you'd love it. You should do it.
Okay, we'll put it on the list, 2026. Okay, I have a few questions. I'm just going to throw in a few random questions here. Do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee.
Okay,
Yes.
because you might. I worked with some people who are around your age where they just reject coffee or any type of caffeine or anything like that. Okay, this is good to know. And do you drink it with?
Big coffee fan over here.
Okay, so then is it typically black or with something?
No, I'm kind of a snob actually. I don't drink a
Okay.
ton of drip coffee. I like to have a breve cortado, so it's like a cortado with half and
Oh
half.
gosh.
It's usually like two a day. It's kind of an
So you have a
obsession.
home setup. Okay.
I do, yeah. And I also have a coffee sponsor. Shout out to Snake River Roasting
Oh,
Company.
dude.
So I
Okay.
get like all the different
That's the
flavors,
life.
I love the whole thing. It's really fun.
Whatever do Morton and Brooks and Koros and Raid coffee sponsor? That's huge. That's big time. Okay, so then are you a person who'd rather just do this at home, or are you going to a coffee shop?
I definitely do a mix. I mean, I like my at-home coffee routine. I think it's like a very important part of my morning, but I also love to go to coffee shops just to work or hang out with people. I feel like every like in-person meeting I have, I'm like, let's go to the coffee shop. I don't want to do
Okay.
anything else.
So then, I mean, that might answer this next question of like, are you an on-the-go type person, or would you prefer staying at home most of the time?
Whoa, that's a really hard question. I love home and I think it's really important, but I also feel like I spend a lot of time not at home. Just like there's always just stuff going on. I feel really busy.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extroverted introvert, I think.
Oh, okay. That's
Wait.
my answer that I usually say too. Okay, which is harder, 800 on the track or VK?
Oh, 800 on the track for sure.
See, yeah, I mean, you have to experience that at a high level. There's a certain kind of hurt that you can't replicate anywhere else.
Truly.
What do you think your time would be if you went for it right now?
In the 800?
Yeah. What's
Oh
your PR?
gosh.
Is that like, I'm a big track fan too, like were you like
I run. I
204?
think I ran something
3?
like that. I honestly don't even remember. I haven't run the 800 since college, and I didn't do it very much. I think I could run like 205 right now, maybe
Oh,
206.
I mean, would you credit that to a lot of your uphill high-end aerobic work?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do still do a fair amount of like speed work, not so much on the track, but I do like a road workout that's pretty fast every now and then. I do a lot of strides. So I feel like I still am very much in touch with that like speed side of my training.
And how does that like interplay between those kind of workouts and then when you get to not just VK but like short course stuff, all of that Golden Trail series, most of the races have some pretty intense uphill action and downhill action, but all at like a really high aerobic effort. Like, how do you manage that, or do you have some like predictor workouts, or it's a much harder thing once you translate it to the trail as opposed to track and roads.
It definitely is hard, but I also think, I mean, I have this perspective that like you will always finish a trail race on empty. Like it is not hard to empty the
Hmm.
tank. And whether that happens like at the right time in the race is up to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Like strategically, you know, like if you go out too easy, you might like not be able to catch up or you miss the people who go off the front or whatever. Like it does change what place you finish in depending on where you expend that energy, but like you will always finish pretty darn close to empty because you have hours in order to do that. And so I feel like it's just always an experiment. Like every single race is different. Normally, like, I don't know, I'm doing different races every year. So it's like I often am going to events that I've never even seen the trails before I'm out
Yeah.
on them in the middle of the race. And so it's kind of an experiment, which I think is partly why I really enjoy it.
Yeah. That explorative piece, even for races, is like probably my favorite thing about trail running itself. Like we were even in New York for the marathon a few weeks ago, and like I had never been to New York City, but it still felt like explorative in that way. And yeah, I agree. Kind of love seeing the trail for the first time, but it is much harder to predict or nail performances and like different from the track of like if you're running a 15 or an 800, you can break it down to every 200 meters of having a split, knowing where you're positioned on the track. But like when someone makes that transition to trail racing, there's so many different skills involved that aren't in necessarily other running like they're different sports, I guess is what I'm saying. And what were some of the things, or maybe are some of the things that you're working on or have worked on becoming a trail athlete? Because I know that's a lot of people's interest of like, it's intimidating to go over to the trails because it does feel so unknown. But like, what are some things would you
Yeah,
recommend
I mean,
or
it's
have you
definitely
been
pretty
working on?
nebulous at times. And I think like the biggest thing that you can do is learn how to meter your effort, learn like what type of effort you are putting out. I mean, I use heart rate now to do that, but for like my first entire, I don't know, multiple years of being on the trails, like I wasn't even using heart rate for training. I was just going out. Like paces are pretty irrelevant on the trail. And so if you're not using pace or heart rate or any of these things that you can use on roads and track, like it's really nebulous, and you just have to be like really tapped into your body and how are you feeling and how hard are you working, and kind of like build this like repository of experiences that you've had before and help like have those guide what you're doing in that moment and guide your next race and all of that. And I feel like it's just very like feeling and effort based. And so it's made me like really get in touch with like what it feels like when I'm working hard, what it feels like to be running threshold, what it feels like to be holding back, like be in zone 2. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And then also like a huge learning experience for me was going through the whole like process of learning how to fuel during a race. I know a lot of people who are running longer road races have some experience with, most likely, especially for like marathons. But that was new to me because I came out of like NCAA track running the 1500. I never had to take a gel. I'd never taken a gel in my entire life.
You just make
And
sure you're eating your meal 4 hours ahead of time.
Exactly. It was like, I'm learning how to be like a well-rounded athlete and like eat a balanced diet, like real food. And I wasn't using any sports nutrition products. And the process of learning how to do that over the last 3 trail seasons has been like, honestly, really fun. I think a lot of people really struggle with it, but I think it's fun. It's always an experiment. And I think like I give massive credit to like going on that journey being like part of what has helped me like excel in the last couple of years. It's been a really big game changer.
Yeah, and I mean, big news for you recently is that you're officially a Morton Pro, like a pro athlete. That's huge. And so then, like in these short course trail races, a lot of times, if it's like 90 minutes or less, many people won't even like. They might not bring a bottle. They might not bring nutrition. Of course, like on a VK, I'm assuming you're not using nutrition during, but do any like Morton caffeine gels beforehand or anything like that?
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the course and how long I think it's going to take me. I actually do generally take a gel in the middle of a VK, because
okay. Oh,
my sort of
hot
routine,
take.
like, I'm like a very high carb person. I know it's very trendy right now. Lots of people are doing it, but I've like built up to the point
Which
where
is
like
fine because I love carbs.
I love carbs too. I'm like, if I'm doing any race that's like anywhere from the VK up to like a 6-hour bike race, like I'm trying to hit over 100 grams of carbs per hour. And so I'm taking a gel like 30 minutes into a VK, even if there's only
Okay.
15 minutes left, because I feel like it just gives me that like last boost for like the
Oh
last couple
yeah.
minutes
And I
of the
mean,
race.
a lot of science is showing that you can take a gel and within 15 minutes have a real benefit from it. So then when you're looking at some of these golden trail series, a lot of them are like, are they around 2 hours ish of running, sometimes between 2 and 3 hours? And so like, what's your strategy there? I know there's different from athlete to athlete of not only just what you need nutritionally, and like sweat rate and all that kind of stuff, but also like some reserve their fuels to when they're break into a hike before they get to the top of a climb. Like what kind of strategy? You don't have to give away all your secrets, but do you have any that you could share? Like when are you taking gels and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an open book. I don't have any secrets with any of this stuff. So my general strategy is that I try to take, like I said, I try to take over 100 grams of carbs per hour. And normally how that breaks down for me is that I have like a bottle with like Morton 320 drink mix in it. So it's generally like 500 to 650 milliliters of water and that drink mix, which is 80 grams of carbs. And then I also will take a 40-gram gel in that same, and that's like what I take almost every hour. So I'll at least try to. Sometimes the courses, like it doesn't always work out with the aid stations, or like where they have like elite athlete bottle drops. Like I'm always tinkering it to exactly where I'm going to get to pick up more nutrition on the course, and also like what the terrain is like. Like I'm not always able to drink when it's really technical and like I'm, using my hands because I'm hiking uphill or I'm like running down some crazy, insanely technical trail through the woods. And I'm trying to just not get hurt. Like it's distributed differently every race, but that's my general goal, is to like, have the 80-gram bottle and the 40-gram gel every hour as best as I can.
And so when you have that bottle, like, is that going to be your hydration as well? Because I know some people will supplement more hydration on top of that. I don't tend to do that, but is that your hydration too?
That's my hydration. Yeah, I generally don't drink any water while I'm out there unless it's really hot. Like sometimes I have carried an extra flask that I could like fill up with water at an aid station as I'm passing through, if I think I'm going to need more. And I also don't do any like electrolytes or anything like that because I've found that like the amount of sodium like in the Morton products is enough. And I also every race that I have run in the last 2 years, I've taken the bicarb, which is like
Okay.
a ton of sodium. And so I've never had like a cramping issue. And I feel like I just don't need to like supplement with more electrolytes in the middle of the race.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of questions about that bicarb. How do you implement it personally?
So I definitely don't follow the exact recommendations. I take a much lower dose. Like I can't always stomach like 200 milliliters of gel the morning of the race. It just like feels like a ton of volume. And I'm also like trying to eat breakfast and it's just a lot. And so I've found that like even a lower, like even cutting it in half and taking half of it has been like a performance boost for me. And I like the feeling of that. And so, yeah, sometimes I take half, sometimes I take the full dose that's recommended for like my body weight. And I generally am taking it like anywhere from 90 minutes to 3 hours before the event.
Okay.
It kind of depends on what the event is. And I'm like working with Morton to sort of tinker this plan because this is what I developed on my own before I was an
Yeah.
athlete for them. And now I have access to like all these incredible sports scientists and, they have a much better understanding of how like exactly when all of this is like peaking in your bloodstream and like, what the best strategies are. So this will all change, but
That's exciting. If you've worked so much on it and feel like you found a plan already to like fine tune those single percentages, that's sweet. So in this last year, you've done a bunch of different races. In this question could be for the last year or beyond. What's been your favorite race you've done? This could be a high school track too. I don't care. Like do you have a favorite race that just comes to mind?
this is a very mean question because I love so many races, but I would say my consistent highlights, two races in particular. One is Broken Arrow, which I've competed at the last 3 years. And it's just been like really pivotal for me in multiple ways. Like I've found such a strong community there. I know a lot of the people who put on the race. They're really great people.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to
every
Brendan
single year,
and his team for sure.
shout out to Brendan. Brendan is amazing. And I feel like every year that I've been, it's been like something pivotal in my career where I'm like moving towards something or big things change or I meet people who end up being really important in my life. And also just the race atmosphere is phenomenal. Like I think whether you're front of the pack, middle or back of the pack, it's just like a phenomenal experience. So I love Broken Arrow and I like can't imagine not going every single year.
So that's on your calendar already.
That's on my calendar. It's the only race I've registered for in 2026. So that's really fun.
Okay. Are you doing the vertical 23K?
That's what I'm
40?
signed up for right now.
6K?
Sign up for the Ascent and the 23K.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I would say my other favorite race is a smaller local race here in Jackson called the Rendezvous Hill Climb. And it's the first trail race that I ever did. Way back when I was like beginning to run and had no idea like that this was going to become what it is in my life now. And I have broken the women's record on that course the last 2 years. And it's become like just this test piece for me. Like it's like objectively not an important race on my calendar. And it's just become like really important because of like the significance of it. And I like grew up a quarter mile from where the race starts. So it's just like literally my backyard. And I always like, it's a really fun opportunity to kind of like come together with like the Jackson running community every year.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because Jackson, I mean, I live in a tourist town as well. And like when tourists are there, it feels really big. But when it comes down to it, like Jackson, Estes Park, these mountain towns, they're just like small, really cool communities of, and if you don't live here unless you want to live here. That's the cool thing. So I love when the community can come together like that. But that's cool. Like two opposite ends of the spectrum of like Broken Arrow is like the premier trail race, at least short course trail races in the US. And then your local hill climb, like that's so cool. Which does, I mean, I've followed that race for quite a few years too, of like, that does attract a few at least, elite athletes, not just yourself. Like there's a few elite athletes who make that a stop every year on their calendar. When is that?
It's generally like the first weekend in August.
Okay.
Yeah. And it definitely like it's gotten a lot of really good momentum over the last couple of years. Like
Sweet.
I've
I
kind of
love
just been
that
like
for them.
all my friends, I'm like, come race. It's so fun. The course is really sick. It's like 6 miles, 4,000 feet, absolute grind. It's beautiful. And like you end up on top of the ski area and then get to take the tram down. Like it doesn't really get better than that. It's awesome.
Well, and when you're up there too, and you turn around and look back down to that valley is so beautiful. Like it's one of those places I'm like, I got to get back there. It's just gorgeous. And the other side of the mountain too, of like coffee shops. Here's one. What's the town that's like north of Victor?
Driggs.
There's a really good little breakfast place and coffee shop, but I can't remember the name. When we were there, like I went there multiple times, and like I'm a coffee person too. I do my pour over like while I'm building a fire every morning, all that kind of stuff, you know. And I love that place. I don't know if it was just when I was there, it was great. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not going to try and guess because I don't spend that much time over there. Like,
Okay. Ooh, is that like a rival, like that side of the mountain?
No, not at all. I mean, it's
Okay.
awesome. It's like an hour from where I live, and I don't go over super often. So
Yeah, maybe someone will know it and throw it in the comments or something. But once I'll figure it out and I'll tell you, and you have to go there and tell me if it's actually as good as I remember.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, and here's one from the opposite end too. Like, what's a dream event you haven't been a part of yet?
Ooh. I mean, I've never been a part of anything at UTMB. I have never experienced the hype around that, and I have been to Chamonix a handful
There's
of
a
times.
lot of hype. It's
I like it
wonderful.
there a lot, and I'm like, I gotta go. So that's definitely on the list.
Is it on the list for 2026?
Potentially. I've been getting
Okay.
lots of questions. I've actually had like 5 meetings this week, and everyone's like, "What are you doing in 2026?" I'm like,
I don't know.
I actually don't, like, genuinely, I'm not trying to be secretive. I actually don't know.
It's a good place to be.
We're considering it.
Okay.
I wouldn't race anything longer than OCC, but
Yeah. Would that be your longest race though? Like that's what, 55K or so? Okay.
yeah, I've never done a 50K. Longest race I have run is Zagama, which I did this past May. Which was like a total bucket list race that I checked off this year. That was incredible.
Okay. That's on my bucket list too, and I'm like, we're starting to build our calendar too, like kind of wish list, and I'm like, Zagama would be far up there. What shoe did you wear for Zagama?
I wore the Catamount Agile, which is the most minimalist Brooks shoe.
Yeah.
That course is really technical. That was a huge challenge for me. I do run in a lot of technical terrain generally because the Tetons are pretty rugged, but the race is at the end of May. And if you live in a mountain town, it's actually really hard to even be on any type of dirt trail before then. So I was like having honestly a really hard time training for it. And then in the race, like it was really technical and the wheels kind of came off towards the end because you do 9,000 feet of climbing and descending on rough terrain. And my legs were not ready for that at where I was in the season.
Yeah. And the Catamount Agile is basically, I think you wear that most often. I'm the type who zooms in on all the elite's feet, see if I can catch a prototype, something like that. Is that what you race in most often?
I do race in it pretty often. It's my like go-to VK shoe. So like any
Yeah,
uphill
is it
race,
like familiar to a track spike? Like, is that why you like it so much?
It is. It feels like it just like becomes part of your body. Not that other shoes don't, but like you just feel so connected to the ground and like there's nothing between you and the surface that you're running on. It's super light. It also has like really good tread. It's super grippy. And I think that's kind of what like draws me towards that shoe for like more technical terrain.
Easy to be confident in. Have you spent much time in this shoe, the Cascadia Elite?
I knew what you were going to grab before you even showed it. I have spent a lot of time. That is the other shoe that I raced in a lot this year, and the shoe that I train in. I was going to say the most, but it's not the shoe. It's not the shoe I train in the most. It's
Okay.
one of two shoes I train in most often.
Can you disclose the other shoe you train in most often?
Yeah, the other one is the Cascadia 19,
Okay.
which previous to the 19, I have not liked the Cascadias very much. They were like a shoe that I never really wore. And I am obsessed with the 19. It is a phenomenal
Okay.
shoe, and that's my go-to trainer.
Wow, you're really validating some of our team's picks this year because we're in our year-end awards, and not to spoil too much, but the Cascadia 19 was on there, and it hasn't been for many, many years. Okay. Thanks for the validation.
It's
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Interesting because it uses the name Cascadia, but it is like a completely different shoe than the Cascadia
Yeah.
18, the Cascadia 17. Like it has like the heritage name, but it is like completely re-envisioned. And I think Brooks absolutely nailed it with that one. I'm like so obsessed with it. I've recommended it to so many friends. I'm like, this is the shoe. Like you're looking for
You do it
one-stop
all.
shop. Is it? Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's a great sell there. And then when you run road, like road workouts or gravel workouts, are you sticking with those same, or are you bumping over to some other road models?
Yeah, classic road models for me. I run in the Ghost Max a lot. If I'm
Okay.
going for just like an easy road run, like, 8, 10 miles, like whatever pace with friends. That's probably my go-to road trainer. I do occasionally use the Hyperion Elite. So like the Brooks Marathon shoe I'll use for like faster road workouts, kind of the speed stuff I was talking about before. Um, and then yeah, if I'm on gravel these days, I'm wearing the Cascadia Elite because it just feels so good, and that's what I've
So
been
good.
racing. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, I just want to be respectful of your time. Um, I just want to kind of talk to you a little bit about the future of like this past year at TrailCon, you got kind of a prestigious award of like just was it called the Future Award?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
was.
okay? I couldn't remember exactly what the verbiage was around it, but I mean that's an honor to be given that award among so many of this growing elite side of the sport. So many people are investing in this side of the sport. Like that's incredible. And you are young. You have hopefully many years of competition if you choose, trail running if you choose, investment. Do you see, like looking 5 to 10 years ahead, what do you hope, not just for yourself, but maybe for young girls who are approaching your age and approaching trail running themselves? I have 2 daughters, so obviously like I want them to have their best future, but you have a unique perspective on all this and how you've gotten into the sport. What would you hope for yourself and for others 5 to 10 years down the road?
I mean, I love that question. That's like, I feel like I spend a lot of my time thinking about this stuff. Like, what did I need when I was 15 to know that trail running existed as like a real true opportunity? Like something that you could like devote a lot of your life to, if not like, yeah, do as your career. I didn't really know that existed. So I think like, yeah, I trying to bring in like younger athletes and like share with them that like this is a thing, you can do this, you can love this. Like when everything in the running world is maybe like through the systems trying to push them towards track or towards marathons,
Hmm.
towards road running, towards cross country when you're younger. Like I think just like helping them see that there's like a broader, that running is just a huge thing and it's a huge community and there's a million different ways that you can do it. And also you can do them all. You don't have to choose one. I think that's really important. Um, but yeah, I guess like I don't know. It's kind of like that's the question of my career is like how do I contribute to like younger people seeing that and having like just giving trail more exposure in general. And I think that's kind of like a daily thing that I'm like working through, trying to figure
Yeah.
out.
And I mean, you and where you're at in your career right now, you're really on, you're really on the top level. If someone's looking at a woman athlete for short course trail racing, they're going to know of or learn of you. Is that a comfortable place for you, of like kind of being like the queen of short course right now for the US and on a global scale?
I mean, that's a new one. I haven't gotten that before.
Come on, just own it.
I don't know. I feel like I've made a lot of like mental adjustments, like literally this year, because I have always been the underdog. Like I've always felt like I was the underdog, and mentally I'm still there. Like I still feel that, like
Mhm.
I'm not winning golden trail races. I'm like consistently in the top 10. So I don't see myself as like at the top by any means. Like there's so
Yeah.
much more I want to do, so much more I want to grow. And so like I definitely have had a lot more opportunities because of like the performances that I've had this last year, but I still see myself as like, in the infancy. Like there's so much to do and there's so much I want to learn, and like so many people who are like way further along in this process than I am. So yeah, I guess it feels like I've like been mentally adjusting, but also like I'm still just the same person. I still just like
Yeah.
a long ways to go.
Well, even like I had mentioned that I'm a teacher, but it took me like 9 years to really own that I was a professional. Like, and I really loved my craft. And even as like a runner these days, and this is my career, of like, it takes a long time for you to feel that way. But I have a hunch that you're probably always gonna have that feeling too, like no matter the performances or where you go. One more question here. America is kind of obsessed with the ultra game. Would you consider that? I know you had said maybe OCC, but is that a trend that you're looking to follow?
Not right now. I mean, I am super interested in
I'm
it
so
in the
glad to
long
hear that, actually.
in the long term. I'm like, well, yeah, like how could I
Yeah,
exist in this space and never want to know what it feels like to run 100 miles? Like, of course I want to know.
yeah,
All my friends are doing it. Like, I want to figure out what it's like.
yeah,
Um, I want to explore that, but I have like no interest in it right now. And I
yeah,
feel like, honestly, I don't feel that much pressure to go that way because I feel like sub ultra trail is exploding. And so there's a lot of excitement. I'm getting everything I need and want from the space that I'm living in right now. And I can like be a big fan of ultra running, and I can support my friends who run ultras and just not do it yet. So
yeah, exactly.
yes, eventually, now, no.
Okay. Well, you have like another Brooks teammate, I guess, like in Des Linden. I know there's some people who are like, whoa, if she's doing it, why not me? And maybe you feel that eventually, but didn't know if that was like giving you a bug here in the near future
I'm
or
just
not.
really excited. I'm excited to have Des over in the trail world. She's going to be awesome.
Dude, that first on so many levels, that's really exciting for just
Yeah.
like the current landscape and the future landscape of trail running, and yeah, just so much excitement. Well, Anna, thank you for your time. We look forward to 2026 and 2025, seeing those results on the slopes, I guess. You're not going to turn that around and go downhill, like live your childhood dream, are you?
Actually, yes, there are gates. It is an uphill and downhill race.
Oh, sweet.
So
Okay.
I actually have been having a really good time like tapping back into this like 10-year-old version of myself where I'm like
Yeah.
whipping around the gates. It's been really fun.
Well, do you guys have like man-made snow right now? Like, are you able to ski at all? Yeah.
It's actually
Jeez.
wild. I'm driving down to Salt Lake today for these races, and they're making snow as we speak. But I have not
Okay.
been on snow in Gibson, nor has really most of the people I'm racing with. So we're all just like, breaking out the skis
Yeah.
and gonna
Like
put it
riding
together.
a bike, right? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Anna. Best of luck, and we'll be cheering you on in the future too.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's great talking with you.
Stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna tuck run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop. TROP.